Hey everyone, it's me, Joe Saiyan. Today we are going to be doing a build video for Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, but before we begin I need to point out a couple things. So if you don't want to listen to this intro, please hit the timestamps in the description or comments below to skip ahead. Now, I currently, at the time of recording, am a part of the Squadra Creators Program, copyright of Bird Studio, SHUEISHA, TOEI, Animation, and Bandai Namco Entertainment Incorporated. Now, with that being said, Squadra is a free-to-play MOBA game designed to be played 4v4 competitively, and I am saying that I am by no means a pro. So, I'm not a pro, MOBAs are skill-based, future updates can invalidate the builds, and moving forward, build suggestions and card suggestions and skill suggestions are all only suggestions, and you should adjust as needed based on your skill level at playing this game. Thank you for watching, and let's just go ahead and get right into it. Alright everyone, it is Squadra time again, and today's video is going to be for Baby. We are going to attempt to figure out the best way to build the skills and card suggestions for this Tuffle so that you can help him get revenge for the Tuffles against the Saiyans. I'm exaggerating, but I think he's an interesting tank, honestly. He could be better, in my personal opinion. I think updates and buffs and nerfs are going to change dramatically how this guy plays. It already has, but anyways. So we're going to go through the breakdown of him first. We'll go through the skill suggestions and then the card suggestions after that. All right, so as far as his breakdown goes with his abilities, his passive honestly is a little underwhelming, but is still fine. He takes possession of an enemy hero, but only on a KO'd enemy hero. Essentially, if you finish off an enemy, you will possess them for probably about 10 seconds, or essentially as soon as they actually respawn. So the later in the game that this gets, the better. But Baby is a character that can mostly only be utilized by players that understand the majority of the character base. You're not going to obviously be able to use too many characters very well when you take over their body if you don't know how they work. So if you plan on using Baby, I hope you are familiarized yourself with the other characters in the game, because that is the best way that you can really use Baby's passive. Now his rush attack is just firing an energy blast, and it'll increase, range will be increased after losing possession of a target. If you possessed an enemy target, you'll have like an increased range, but anyways. Your skill 1 is your Finger Blitz Barrage. Honestly, this is a pretty weak skill early on in level 1 and level 2. I think this is one of those abilities to actually utilize it very well. You'll need it at max level, but essentially it just fires a barrage like this and pushes enemies back. It doesn't have anything else to it. His skill 2, however, continuously releases damage outwards. He gets strike defense up during it and applies movement speed down to enemies. And it also shortens the cooldown of his skill 3, which is actually pretty important in all honesty. Also, you can generate a huge explosion if you re-enter the command. Now, his skill 3 is taking possession of an ally hero. You're not really taking possession in all honesty, you're more just like hitching a ride in their body. And while you're hitching a ride, you will apply steal life to them. So every time they're doing damage, they're getting a little bit of extra life back. And you can use your rush attack, your left click, whatever your rush attack button is, while you're in their body to throw out these cover fire blasts that will do that. The HP of the possessed ally hero will be restored every time you're hitting the enemy with these attacks. So as soon as you actually possess an ally with your skill 3, you want to just be rush attack clicking the entire time. Now, his super attack is honestly kind of weak in my personal opinion, but it's just essentially a shockwave. You obtain extra HP and deal more damage the next time if it hits an enemy hero. The more enemy heroes hit, the more HP is gained. I don't think it's too crazy of an ability. It does have a low cooldown, but comparative wise to skill 2, skill 3, even skill 1, I just don't feel like it does very much for you in general. It doesn't even push the enemy back, so. Alright, so this one's probably going to be pretty quick, but we're just going to go over all of his skills and what level, what they look like. So at level 1 of his skill 1, pretty weak. Doesn't do much, doesn't have a huge radius. You do also have stocks with this. That is the one thing about the skill 1 is you do have quite a bit here. You can move while doing this attack. It's about roughly a 6-second cooldown, I believe. Yeah, it's a 6-7 second cooldown for each stock of the level 1. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like at level 2. Level 2, much wider radius, much better. We're looking a lot better at level 2. I would say it's a lot more useful as far as like poking with it, but that's about it. It just pokes. Most of the time enemies will just straight up push back with it. But at level 3, that's when we're actually doing like crazy range, much higher levels of pushback. This is when the ability is actually much better. That pushback right there, along with being able to double push right there, it definitely adds a lot more to the skill and more usage. Now, his skill 2 is just an energy explosion. He gets strike defense up and movement speed down on this. Not too crazy. If you reactivate it, you are supposed to get a final explosion. Oh, at level 3, excuse me. So, not too crazy. Pretty long cooldown, I will say. That is a pretty hefty cooldown right there for skill 2. Alright, so let's try this again. So, skill 2, much bigger radius at the very least. That's at level 2 for the skill 2. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, not too terrible. Just doesn't do any damage. Remember, the whole purpose of this ability is actually to lower the cooldown of your other one. So at level 3, much bigger right here, and we can re-enter. It'll get a little explosion at the end right there. I don't think it does too much. It's a nice little thing, but not insane. So let's go ahead and go over here and test out the possession ability. So the possession ability will have a very small circle right here, and it'll apply steal life. While you're in here, you're actually recovering HP. It does have you a little timer on here. You can't attack unless an enemy comes at you. So let's just go ahead and get him over here. Now, as I said, while you're using your skill 2, it is taking away little bits of nodes at your skill 3 to lower the cooldown. The problem with this is both of these skills are all both very, very, very high on the cooldown. They are just absolutely dramatically super high on the cooldown. Let's go ahead and possess our friend right here. So see all these attacks right here? We're just lowering, we're just increasing the HP we regained there. Level 1 doesn't look that great. And we have a 25-second cooldown nearly, which is absolutely insane for that when his possession ability is essentially what he needs to do a majority of the time. Let's go use his skill 2, try and lower it, do a little bit of damage right there. That's about it. Didn't do too much for you. It still lowered it down. We finally have our skill 3 available. Go ahead and possess our ally right here. Much bigger radius to take control of. A little bit bigger blasts there using his rush attack to heal up the ally, of course. And once again, we actually get fully healed when we pop out of there. Once again, huge cooldown time, man. It is pretty freaking rough to be utilizing it. That skill cooldown just, it takes forever. It's literally turned into like a one-time only during a fight, and you have to really rely on your allies. Let's go ahead and take level 3 for his skill 3. Much bigger cone radius. Go ahead and possess him. Now we have much bigger blasts of damage, doing a lot more damage, healing a lot more damage. Yeah, much better. But unfortunately, it doesn't last long. Huge cooldown as of the time of recording. So let's test out his super attack. So the super attack just pushes enemies out. That's all it does. That's it. And with a 50-second cooldown, that is pretty rough. It doesn't do any pushback, doesn't do much else there. So I struggle to find a lot of purpose in this skill when it just doesn't do very much in general. 50-second cooldown is something, I will say that, but it's not amazing. Let's try it at level 2. A little bit larger radius, not crazy though. Yeah, not crazy. I'm not crazy about it. It doesn't do too much for you there. Let's go ahead and possess the ally here. So as you can see, when we're possessing an ally with skill 3, we actually recover our own HP. And that's kind of where his quote-unquote tankiness comes from, is that he possesses an ally while he's taking a bunch of damage, and then he heals by going in their body. He heals for them. I do see the push, but it ends up being just like a not really tanky character that gets to heal a lot and hope that you don't die. During endgame status, this level of healing and defensibility doesn't really go too far in my personal opinion at the time of recording. Now, level 3 with his super, much bigger radius at the very least, so that's something. Does heal up quite a little bit right there of HP. Not too bad, not too bad. But honestly, even with it just being a 50-second cooldown, it's not doing crazy levels of damage. It's not even like enough damage to really say that it's helping per se with even mini bosses. It just does something. Whereas you could just push that up and those are popping up about 2,000 to 3,000 damage. His skill 1 is almost doing more for you in general. Yeah, I'm overall not too impressed with him. I'm mostly impressed with the skill 3 and how it operates, getting the auto heal for yourself and then healing the allies, of course. Getting that up is honestly the most important thing I can see right now. But the cooldowns, look at these cooldowns. We're still waiting another 10 to 15 seconds after using the skill 2 to lower the cooldown of skill 3. And when you're in team fights, that means you have one moment where you can actually realistically use the possession of the ally, and you know, not have to run away essentially. So, or end the team fight. Now, as far as helpers go, I think it's pretty straight up obvious. You want either Kaba just for a general extra defense, which I don't feel like does very much. I think it's straight up Rildo the entire way. You really just want the nearest enemy to apply and get a decoy off of him so that you have a moment to actually run away and wait for your skill cooldowns to actually cool down so that you can, well, continue to hop back into the fight. I do think Rildo is the only real choice for Baby, though. Now we're going to go ahead and hop into the skill suggestions of the character. I do actually have 2 builds for you specifically. But I will definitely tell you first and foremost, I do not see much of a point to the super attack. If somebody, you know, in a future update can tell me, oh, that it's super clutch or it does crazy damage or something, you know, let me know so I can get the one-on-one with this guy and really push it out there. But otherwise, I'm not really seeing the push for his super over his skill 1, 2, or 3 at the current time of recording, being in November of 2025, after his Season 2 update. So if it's like Season 3 and he gets a huge increase, or it's mid-Season 2 or far off into the future, please let me know at which update season that he gets a little bit crazier with that super, because otherwise I don't see a point to it. And both of these builds are going to really put my thoughts into perspective there with this. So this first build is more towards you just possessing the ally constantly. You get that to max level, you do more damage, you heal more for the ally and for yourself. And then you push the skill 2 so that you can try and lower the cooldown of skill 3 more often and do a little bit of AoE in there. And then all while still pushing into skill 1, lastly, to get that huge pushback of poke with his skill 1. I feel like this is almost mandatory in this order as well, almost. I would say you can probably go level 8 with skill 1 first if you really want to get that extra amount of visual pressure. And then you can go into skill 3 and then skill 2. So these 8, 9, and 10 is entirely up to you. but I do feel like you really need to put the pressure on that you need to be able to steal life and keep that up constantly. The super attack just doesn't do enough to the point of, at endgame, sure, utilize it then. Maybe it'll do a little bit of last second damage or break the dragon shell or something. But otherwise, I don't see there's enough damage or any use of this. Maybe it's better in groups of enemies. Maybe I'm just missing it. But right now, I don't see the reason to be utilizing his super. And same thing goes with this second build. I really just say if you really want to, you can pressure onto skill 1 first, and then pressure onto skill 3, and then lastly onto skill 2. But I don't see the pressure of super being useful for baby in my current experience level with the game. I don't see it. I've had better luck getting max level skill 1, 2, and 3 than I have even trying to use the super attack for baby. It just doesn't seem like it's worth it to me. Once again, if they rework the super attack, maybe in the future that'll be fine, but as of right now, I'm not seeing it. If you really want to have your super early, you really just want to have that one little of damage, then I would just go ahead and put maybe take away the level 5 from your skill 2. Skill 2, you can kind of get away with it, but you do just need to use this so you can lower the cooldown of your skill 3. Otherwise, I still just don't see the purpose in moving into super. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move into the card suggestions. The card suggestions, I actually only have one build for you, and the reason for this is because Baby is a very one-shot character. You have two options, in my personal opinion. If something else works for you, please go ahead and comment it below. Let others know your skill level of choice with this character. But personally, I view Baby as just a pure tank and needing to get that cooldown. So one build is just straight up go build up, steal skin, and defensive step to try and run away the best you can. As much damage reduction and defense as possible. And then another build is strategic escape to increase your speed to run away. And then barrier to save your butt for when they inevitably get onto you. And then limit breaking jump so that you can try and dodge away and have another blue card to lower your cooldown overall, because you want blue cards to lower your cooldown because his cooldowns are so freaking high. It doesn't do a crazy amount, but maybe that half a second to a second of saving cooldown might just save your butt. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video for Baby. Do let me know down in the comments what you decided to do about your skills and cards with him. Is there a secret way that I'm not seeing how to use this guy? Because he seems pretty straightforward, and he probably needs some more future buffs than almost several of these characters do, in all honesty. But just for a little FYI, in the beta of Squadra, when it was called Project Multi, Baby was much better at that point of time, and they nerfed him from that point. So, yeah, he was good once upon a time. So, anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day and a good night.